But now we are bringing on our final guest for the evening. We're bringing on Jewell Parker Rhodes and Kelly McWilliams. Hello. What? Now, Miss Jewell, are you gonna let us see you?
Hi, how are you? It's nice to see you,
Wonderful.
wonderful woman. Nice to see
Great
you,
seeing
Kelly.
you. Well, first of all, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV. I'm sorry that you missed Gwen, but unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, she's going to be singing with her choir for you've heard of the Congresswoman whose name I cannot remember right now, but she just recently
The
passed.
past, yes, yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Sheila
so she's
Jackson Lee.
singing.
Sheila Jackson Lee. And
Yeah.
so her funeral is going to be at Gwen's church, and Gwen is going to be singing with the choir. So she was not able to make tonight. So, but she does send her apologies for not being here tonight.
Not at all. I mean,
Yay!
basic loving that love that she's giving to the Congresswoman's family and to the memory of her. I mean, that's more important than anything having to do with what we're doing tonight. So she made the right choice, and I really do honor how the fact that we've had so many women, Black women political leaders, and that we might even have a Black woman political president. So it's like that's important work for us to be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm this is an exciting time to be a woman right now. I'll tell you that. A black woman, white woman, whatever. I mean, this is just an exciting time.
Yes, true.
And our health right now is on the, I'm not going to try to turn this into a political conversation, but our health right now is on the platform. So it's really important that we get out and vote. And that's all I'm going to say about politics. Make sure that you vote. Whatever way you're going to vote, make sure you vote.
Just do it.
Yes.
Yes,
So
do
now,
it.
with that being said, let's talk about these books. Yes, yes, Soul Step.
Yay,
So
so
tell us about Soul Step. First of all, I love the cover. It's so eye-catching, beautiful colors. I love the action that's depicted on the cover. So can you tell us about it? What is Soul Step?
well, let me just start real quick and then I'm gonna hand it over to Kelly.
Okay.
We've got to compliment Brianna Uchendo, who did the artwork. She's fabulous. And in fact, when she was selected to do this, she was an undergraduate
Wow.
in art school. Yes. And just before this book, she did another book. And she's now the John Steptoe, Best Young Illustrator Award winning person.
That's
So a
amazing.
lot of good things are happening to her. But what I really appreciated, besides the color, is the intergenerational, because Black people go mother to daughter, grandmother to mother to daughter, and down through the generations. So I love this image of, a Black mom and her daughter, and the joy and, the faith and the love they have among one another. So when
Yes.
you have an illustrator, they bring their own imagination. So for me, Brianna she's my hero. She is a shero. Kelly, you could take it away. I love this color.
No, it's true. Brianna really brought this story to life, but we started working on the writing of this book, Soul Step, back in 2020, I think it
Okay.
was. So it took many years. Picture books can kind of take a long time to develop. And one of the things we wanted to write about was growing up in sort of majority white neighborhoods as a mixed race family. And I present as white, and my brother presents as a Black man and a Black boy at the time. We had a lot of, it was just like microaggression central. Like it was really like, going to the grocery store, people would be like, is Jewell Parker Rhodes the nanny? Dr.
Yeah, yeah.
Parker Rhodes was
They'd be
not,
like, who is this black woman with this white girl? Are you okay, little girl?
Right.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And then
Exactly,
the
exactly.
siblings. You guys don't go together. That can't be your sister. Or
He
that
can't
can't
be,
be your
that can't be
brother.
your sister. I know my
And
brother used to cry
yeah,
because someone told him we couldn't be related. Oh, you must be adopted,
yeah.
basically.
Mm,
The audacity, and in particular of adult people who would
yeah.
have that audacity, and then the way they would celebrate my husband, who we've now been married. It's going on 40 years. That oh, it's so nice nice of you to adopt the little black boy. You know, and that discussion in the book came from that sense of, as a family, biracial, multiracial, we had to make sure our familial love was tight enough to
Yes.
keep that block of all those microaggressions away from us. And the greatest experience about writing this book was that I learned so much more from my kids' point of view, things that I didn't know that was going on, that Kelly had been feeling and Evan had been feeling. And it was eye-opening. And just so y'all know, we are all as thick as thieves. But go ahead, Kelly, I interrupted you.
But yes, so it's
Mama
really
bear.
about a little girl, you know, seeing that her mother is experiencing these microaggressions wherever she goes. You know, do you really belong in this neighborhood? And there's the man right now.
Yeah, I
So
see
far,
right, Bradley.
okay.
I saw him sneak up behind you.
He's taking the dogs out.
But you know, a little girl really trying to understand, like, how does her mother keep her head up high when she's living in this neighborhood, going through this life? And as kids, me and my brother, you know, we had the same kind of questions. And what we saw was, well, Dr. Rhodes was making art. She was writing books. She was doing activism, spreading love, spreading joy, and that's what kept her spirit high. Now, Jewell came to me in 2020 and she said, I want to write a book about about a step team, about step dancing. And so we came up with the idea of this mother who what she does, instead of writing or celebrating in other ways, like for some people, it could be going to church, it could be finding community. What she does is she puts on her stepping boots and steps. And so the little girl then wants to learn about, well, what does that mean? And you know, why do you do that? And who else does that? And it takes the mom takes her on this journey with, you know, all of her aunties and sorority sisters and Dr. Jameson, the professor, explaining to her what step really is and how its roots go all the way back to Africa, and how but it really popped like with the HBCUs, and how it's all like this interwoven, interconnected history that can also help her as a young Black girl keep her head high when things get hard.
Well, now I'm gonna say, when you all sent your form in, Ms. Jewell said that you were the secret sauce behind the book, but
She
we have a
was.
lot of good ideas that came from Ms. Jewell. So what's
Oh
going on?
yes, she's our idea lady. So
Yes, I had the idea because I used to dance a lot. And while
Okay.
I did not have the privilege of going to HBCU, I went to like this very specialized drama school. I was a dancer, and the way in which the African diaspora and the Black dancing was so important to my mental health, so important to me learning about my culture and keeping my head held high. So even just the other day, I was doing Jackson State University and showing Kelly, did you see them winning their, you know, the national championship for the band? And but anyway, so I had the idea that I wanted to celebrate, because I had studied how even among Africans who were in the diamond mines in South Africa, they had on the gumboots and they would stomp and step, and that's how they would communicate to one another and keep their agency in a very oppressive situation. And then how it moves across to America, and the slaves, the same thing. Y'all can't talk, you can't whisper, but they could use their bodies and make sounds and celebrate themselves, and they could send messages. And then how it evolves with the HBCU, particularly during the civil rights struggle, really using it as a tradition, a sisterhood, a brotherhood, you know, in a way to uplift themselves. So that was what I wanted to say, but I couldn't do it. Writing a picture book is hard. Give me 400 pages, I can do it. You know, having like what, 20 pages with like 10 words on each page, forget it. And guess who had given me
You
a
were a
break from God?
novelist.
Yes, Kelly. Kelly had a toddler. And so I was ready to give the money back and tell, you know, even though I think I can do everything, I met my match. I cannot write a picture book that I thought that I could be proud of, that would do something that was really special and unique. And yet Kelly came to the rescue because
Thank
she
you,
was
Kelly.
writing the picture book. Yeah, so go on, Kelly, tell her how
Oh,
you
that's true.
did.
I mean, the way that this really went down is that Jewel called me and she was complaining about this book, Stole Step, which she'd sold years ago. And she was so interested in the idea and she really wanted to bring it to life for the publisher, but she just couldn't get the rhythm right. Picture books are almost kind of like poetry, like every word counts. It is really annoying. I also write novels and I think picture books might be harder, like a lot harder.
And it's interesting that you say that, because on the outset, thinking about it, like, oh, this should be easy, just a few words on each page, but you have to make it make sense. And you have,
That's right.
you start coming up with all these ideas. Okay, well, I have a few words, but no, I have to put this in. I have to put this part in. Next thing you know, you have a whole 5 paragraph, and it was only supposed to be 10 words.
Yes, yes, you
And all of
described it.
exactly, no, it's perfectly described. And all of the emotion that a novel transfers, like a picture book has to do that too, just
Mm.
with fewer words, less space, less complexity, but it still has to pack that emotional punch. So
Yeah.
anyway, what happened was I had a 3-year-old. I was reading a lot of picture books, and Grandma Jewel called me on the phone and she said, I think I'm going to have to give them the money back. And I said, we're not giving any publishers any kind of money back. Like, we don't do that anymore. We got a grandbaby.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, no, we'll figure this out. And she said, well, do you want to try and take a crack at it? And I was in that moment in my life where I was like sort of turbocharged and yeah, give me all the work. I'm no longer there. You guys.
Yeah, we changed over time. And
Well,
so
yeah.
I was like, I don't write for money. So you want your money back here, that I only write the books that I want to write, and then when I came up, I cannot do this. And then I remember Kelly was like channeling all the young people who are starting their families, having the new baby and thinking about that kind of stuff. And so she had a hunger in a different kind of way, which was so, so appropriate, and she says, no, I'm going to get involved in it. And she saved the book. I helped edit it, but she also the rhythm, like, hey, Kelly, should we do it? Stomp, clap, flip, flap, go hard, snap, snap. It's like, yes. And when we go to schools, we'll get the kids to stand up, and do a little step movement with us. And sometimes they'll even start doing the refrain and singing it back. And to me, that perfectly just matched her having that sense of rhythm, having that sense of, my granddaughter, her daughter there, but so I give credit to my daughter, all power to her. And I think there are things that I learned that well, certainly I can't do everything, even if I want to. And in particular, the ways in which a woman, depending upon the stages of her life, has access to different kinds of sounds and different kinds of rhythms. So I could have the idea, but I had gone beyond that point where I could sort of like really translate it back to a 3-year-old,
That's right. And
yeah.
meanwhile, every other word out of my mouth was like chicka chicka boom boom.
Yes, chicka chicka boom boom. A told B at the top. Yes.
So cute, so cute. So now it looks like you will be traveling. I don't know if it's going to be you, Miss Jewell, or it's going to be the both of you, but you're going to be going to New York City, and you're also going to the DC Open Book Foundation.
Yes, and actually, I will be joining for some of that with Brianna. Clara starts second grade, for heaven's sake.
Wow.
That's my daughter, yeah.
Yeah, Clara, my grandbaby. And then Kelly and I will meet up for the Portland Book Festival at the beginning of November. We're also going to be at the Children's Book World down in Los Angeles. So it's kind of like, us like taking pieces. So sometimes me and Brianna, sometimes me, and then sometimes me and Kelly, because there's so much to do. And one of the things I also want to say is that we're giving away, Kelly, do you have the t-shirts to people like who have step teams? We're giving away free copies of the book, as well as t-shirts, a say soul step. Kelly and I both agree that, it's nice to sell a book, but it's also really nice just to make sure a child has a book.
Give
And
back.
so when you see those elementary school kids all the way through college, but particularly the young ones, saying, I am me, and, yeah, and doing the step routine, it's like we wanted to honor them and their strength and celebration. So actually, if anybody in your audience, if you want to email me, jewellparkerrhodes@gmail.com, I am sending out tons of books and tons of t-shirts. So yeah, Kelly and I kind of like, I don't know what it's like.
To be with
It
the
sounds terrible.
kindergartners. I mean,
Yeah,
and in our real lives, like I write for young adults, I write for teenagers. They're
yeah,
all right.
they're all right.
No,
But
we
it's a
love the
baby.
teenagers. We love the teenagers and we love the middle graders. But when
Yes.
you're walking into those rooms of kindergartners, which I hadn't done in a while, the love is just enormous. So we do have these t-shirts, and you can also check out at Kelly and McWilliams on Instagram. I'll post pictures of the t-shirts, and we're happy to send a book and a t-shirt to any child
Kelly.
who needs a book.
Yeah.
It's
Because
awesome. Now,
yeah.
I hope our audience was listening and that they will take you all up on that offer, because I think that's wonderful. I mean, so it's a book and it's a t-shirt. You don't happen to have
Yeah.
a t-shirt with you, do you?
I see.
You
You
know,
can tell how well
mine is
prepared you are.
inside my house with my family.
Yeah, I'll
Which I
go
can show you.
grab them.
I'll post a picture of it tomorrow for sure.
And
Okay.
also, I
Okay.
can go grab one too. I can go grab
Like, you
one.
want to go grab one?
Yeah, I'll go
Or
grab
only
one.
if you want to.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Well, while Ms. Jewell's going to look for t-shirts, Mary Evans said that picture books aren't as easy as most imagine, and she was glad that you two collaborated on this project. Hashtag salute.
Oh, thank you so much. I was a little nervous about the collaboration, but it was a joy.
Yeah, I got to know
T-shirt.
my daughter even better. So here it is. Soul Step. And then it has who wrote it, Soul Step. And then on the back, catch the rhythm. Feel it in your soul.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, so I will pack this up. And for some people that say they have step teams and things like that, then we send a lot more, because this was a labor of love. And what's really nice about what HBCU schools did is that they carried and enlivened and brought out this tradition that has been, with us as a people for, time immemorial. Thank you very much. But then to have it moved down to elementary school, and you see a 5 or 6-year-old with the fierceness and that sort of assertiveness, it's sort of like, that is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's the miracle. So we are, in particular, we love everybody who steps, but we do have a special heart for the, a 6-year-old singing her voice and using her body and making music and
Yes.
making a statement, because you can see how that's going to inform how they grow, how they live. Woo-hoo, good job.
That's right. It's a practice of strength, and you can start young now. And I think even on Abbott Elementary, there was an episode about a
Yeah.
step team for elementary
It
school.
was. I
So
love Abbott Elementary.
Me too.
Me too.
Now, were either of you in a sorority or on a step team? Or anything?
No, no.
We both wish we were, but no.
Well, I was not in a sorority because I went to a very specialized drama school.
You
So
did.
I was
Yeah.
dancing, and I used to do Afro-Cuban dance, and then have kept that as part of my life. And as I became a novelist, particularly if you read Voodoo Dreams, there's a lot of the dance, the African dances that were done in Congo Square. And even to this day, to me, the body, I can't live without the sense of the body motion. But I kind of respected so much what I didn't have, the HBCU experience. And, even when you think about Kamala Harris and the sisterhood that she has. So it's sort of like I won't speak for you, Kelly. I had a yearning, because in theater, sometimes it can be like really kind of crazy and super competitive, but that yearning of us, Howard, Spelman, Morehouse, that yearning of what I always felt that I needed more in my life, this community, these people. So the way that I do it or try to do it is through my words, because I'm always writing about social activism, social justice, and writing about what's the history. Like I was the first to write about the Tulsa Race Massacre. It was my second novel, Magic City, and they brought it up on the 100th anniversary. So I was in search of a lot of things. But Kelly, if we were going back, girl, you would be
I
going
know,
to
and you know we would.
you. We
Well,
would,
especially
yeah.
as a white passing and sort of white presenting person, like I think I did dream about that, and I have my latest novel, Your Plantation Prom Is Not Okay. The main character.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, it's a little bit of a whopper. I'm sorry.
That's timely.
Yeah, white people having proms on
still not okay.
plantation
Yeah.
or weddings. Yeah.
I know. You're right, but my main character, she's choosing between, her dad wants her to go to an Ivy League school, but she settles on, for her heart, with the activism that she's doing, she needs to go to an HBCU. And that was my sort of little moment of, that wishful thinking, and this book very much, it's about wishing for sisterhood and setting an example for young people about how they, all of these kids of color, a lot of them, we can just look around and start asking aunts and uncles, what you're up to. Maybe it's not STEP, but all of these traditions intersect, and we all have something that's keeping us afloat. And so learning to ask those questions, to hear those stories, is how you build that community for yourself.
Well,
And it's also, this is
Kelly,
my place. I was say,
no, I was just saying very quickly, Mary's asking for your IG handle so we can follow you on Instagram.
Yes, I am at Kelly M. McWilliams.
I think I'm at, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think I'm at Jewell P. Rhodes. I'm not so good at it, but you can go to me on X or Facebook. But I did want to give just a shout out to men, and also in the way that we put in our book, women, that the African American diaspora community, it's always been about raising a child by community. That you might or might not have your parents or your grandparents, but you had your aunts, the woman across the street who looked out for you, And right now people are calling me Auntie Jewell because I'm trying my best to look out for today's youth too. And that community tradition of our people, that we all look out for our children's welfare. And that's also what the book captures. So the mother, daughter, but you don't need, it's kind of like, the JD, well, no politics, okay? You don't need to be the actual mother to mother and nurture a child. And that's what Black women and men have done for centuries. Hallelujah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I really hope I have a chance to see you when you come for the DC Book Open Book Foundation. Are you actually coming to DC, or is that something?
Yes, I am. I'm going to be there for several days. So I'll be there visiting. And the Open Book Foundation, in case you aren't, well, you're pretty aware of it, because your audience isn't aware of it. They primarily send authors and illustrators to Title I schools. And when they send you to the school, they work with the teachers and the curriculum, and the students have all read your book. They've all been given a free copy of your book. And rather than having hundreds of people that you talk to, they give you small classrooms so you can have really good conversations with these kids. It's a program that's exceptional, so well done. And literally anytime they've asked me to do anything, I've said yes, because you can see that the impact reaches a very deep level. So yes, I'm going to be there.
Wonderful. I hope I see you, because I live in the DC area myself, so I would love to be able to see you when you're here.
I would love that too. And I'm going to be at Politics and Prose as well, but if I don't see you this time, what you can do is just invite us back some other time. My in-laws live in the DC area. So it's
look, say less. I might have to have you all come for the Black History Month event in February.
Oh, we would love to come. And I've actually have a new book out coming. It's really about the Oklahoma Land Rush. I always thought just white people did the Oklahoma Land Rush, but a lot of people were ex-slaves. A lot of people who had to go through Juneteenth in Texas went and they claimed their land. And there actually was a movement to start like a whole Black community with its own Black mayor. And then what I know in my adult novel writing is that some of them built that town of Deep Greenwood only to have, decades later, it to be bombed from the air. So it's sort of like but the earlier children's Oklahoma Rush land story that still connects to my adult Tulsa massacre of, called Magic City. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you. Just call us and Kelly and I will come. Right?
But that book that's coming out is called Will's Race for Home. I think
Yeah,
you can
Will's Race.
probably pre-order it pretty soon. It's one of her best ever for middle grade readers, in my opinion. So
Well, you better advocate for your mama. I love it.
I was like, I didn't hear the title.
Oh, I know. She checks. She's making sure I keep it professional and keep it. Yeah, and I actually feel the same about my daughter, that one of the things that she does is she follows, I think, a path that's somewhat similar to me, and that she's always writing, she writes more in close about sisterhood and about siblings, but it's still layered in the context of social justice and how identity can be shaped by colorism and how it shouldn't be shaped by colorism and how people can rise above that. So she does historical fiction, dystopian fiction, some horror, and Your Plantation Prom Is Not Okay is just downright funny. It's kind of snarky. It's like,
Oh, you mean so it's kind of a comedy almost?
how can you describe it?
This moment's, I guess, sort of a dark comedy. It's from the perspective of Harriet, who lives next door to this plantation where all these fancy celebrity weddings are going down. And her way of dealing with it is kind of like to be that snarky teenager and that rebellious teenager. So she's always looking at things with the side eye and has to kind of still learn also how to grieve the mother that she lost. And so there's some jokes in there.
And she also has a relationship with the woman who's having all these weddings and proms, the young daughter. So you also see, the education of this young white girl. It's like, not giving them a time of day, and yet them coming together and making that sense of agency of communal understanding. So it's not just to have a different perspective, and of course, the perspective of no, you don't have a party on sacred ground, but to be able to have a perspective that you could also get somebody else to share it with you and finally understand it so it stops. Kelly, tell me, how many plantation museums actually are there left in the U.S.?
There's three. So there's three plantation museums that tell the history of slavery from the perspective of the enslaved. There are many more.
Is one, right?
Sorry?
Whitney
yes, Whitney Plantation is one, and that's the book that's the plantation that this was based on, and that I went to visit for research, sort of imagining, so like, just that general area. But there's, Whitney Plantation is one, there's McLeod, and there's a third one, but most plantations that you go to that offer tours will tell you the history from the perspective of master enslavers. So they'll say,
and the romanticized version of it. Yeah.
That's right.
Gone
with the wind, So what you get is a sanitized history at best and a really disrespectful history, and so what the Whitney Plantation is doing is utterly groundbreaking. And
I'm proud to say that the Whitney Plantation actually did a small sponsorship for my Black History Month program a few years ago, back in 2020. Because the world shut down right after that event.
Yes.
They are great people over there. I really like them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, they're marvelous. The work that they're doing is so marvelous.
Now we only have about a minute left, but I have to ask, Kelly, when did you decide that you wanted to follow in your mother's footsteps and be an author?
Oh goodness! Well, when I was young and she was writing, she used to put up this sign on her door that said, "Kids keep out. I'm writing."
You know what? should have made a sign like that when I was.
It's never too, I mean, listen, it's never too late. You can keep the pets out, the husbands out, whoever. Like, and I just thought, wow, whatever's going on back there must be real, the real deal magic. So that, that summer that I saw that sign, I went and I got typing and knew that I wanted to sort of do the same thing. I don't know, it seemed natural.
Awesome.
But she opened all the doors.
I know you're
No,
proud.
oh, I'm very proud. And Kelly, she wrote her first novel when she was in the 8th grade. It's called Doormat, and it was published by Random House. But see, for me, I didn't know Black people wrote books till they were 19. And it took me 10 years to finally feel that I had a community because I was too scared and feel connected. So the other thing about, having somebody else do it in front of you and seeing that and opening up doors, it's so much, in a sense, easier because I didn't even know I could do it and then doubted if I could do it, where she felt, oh, I'll do it. And then she used to tell me, oh, mama, you're too slow. Get on with it.
Well, that was just what women of color did, was they wrote books, but they put the sign on the door and they wrote
Yes.
books.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies, I really enjoyed our conversation. This brings us to the end of another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. And I just want to thank you for joining me tonight. And like I said, I know that Gwen would be here if she could, but I will send her your love.
Yes. And I hope to see you in DC.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, we have come to the end of another episode of, another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. I want to thank you all for your support. Thank you for 4 amazing years of Black Authors Matter TV and interviewing some amazing authors. We've gotten to know so many great people. I want to thank Gwen for inviting me to take this journey with her. This has just been wonderful. And thank you all. This has been a great night. I want to thank all of you for your interaction. I hope to see you guys next week for another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. And then also join me tomorrow night for a special version of the Horizons Author Lounge, where I'll be talking with Dr. Asante about, we're going to talk politics. It's going to be an hour of just getting real about it. So I hope to see you guys there. You can message me if you'd like more information on that. But that's all we have for tonight. I am your host for tonight, Dr. Rhonda Lawson, and I will see you next week. Bye.